Hi, everybody, and welcome to a Monday edition of Litter Media Live. I'm Dan Ramey. He's the icon, Mike Smith, and good to have you with us here today. Mr. Hand 2 is on assignment.
Yes.
He'll explain what that assignment was or is when he gets here tomorrow. So we just wanted to throw that out for you there today. Got a lot of things to share from over the weekend. Some involves a lot of our local kids in sports. Right. So we'll talk about that and more. But first, how's the weather looking?
Wet. It was overcast this morning, but we're expecting some rain each day today through Thanksgiving Day. Highs of 50 today and tomorrow, and dropping into the mid-40s for Wednesday and for Thanksgiving.
So I guess if you're running in the Larry Cox Turkey Trot or any of the other events that are going on outdoors, be prepared to be wet more than sweat.
Have you ever seen anyone run with a trash bag on?
I can't say I have.
Yeah, they pull or push through holes for their arms, and they've got it it's just on their torso. Upper torso.
I have done that before, but not to run in.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah, I've seen some runners.
I would think
that.
you build a lot of heat inside of that thing, I would imagine.
But these guys, some of these people wear those kind of sweat tops that you do that anyway. Yeah. So, but it'll keep you dry. Just an idea for keeping dry if you do that.
Something to think about as a Mike Smith runner's tip as we jump into this Thanksgiving holiday weekend. Coming up, news that you can use. But first, let's talk about these folks.
Good folks at Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Talked to Tom White here just recently, of course, Michael Linton. Those two fellas not only run this business, but they want to run it where you know that if you contract with them, whether for residential or business, you're going to get service with the sale. And that is something they take and have taken great pride in, is to make sure the customer gets the service that they deserve. We had a recent interview with some of their representatives talking about the safety suggestions if you're doing some of your own, changing the filters and things of that nature. They every day show how much they care about not only your business, but about you, the customer. Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch just to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing, download the Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652. Haynes Total Health Care Center. You'll find them at 1 Medical Drive here in Chillicothe, just off Marietta Road. Chiropractic, physical therapy, nutritional needs, and more. They've been doing that for 50 years now at their current location. And if you want to find out more about them, just go to their website, which is HaynesHealth.com. And if you forget that, just click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com, and it will take you right to their website where you can learn more about them. Beneficial news that you can use today, and we're going to start off here today. Once I find where I'm supposed to go, this is Mr. Hand 2. We need you. So we're going to talk about this past Friday night's downtown Chillicothe holiday open house. Big crowd on hand, and including characters. The voice there of one Mike Haller, the MC for the event. And, of course, Shine On Chillicothe, they have a lot of the things that we've seen before, like those big light bulbs there, and here's a fan favorite. But they've got more that they've added up into the trees, taking you back to where the kids can stand inside certain light displays. But they've got 75 Christmas trees downtown this year, and it started with like 20-some. This is the light display over the arch, a bridge that goes across the Octangie Park. So if you want to see this, simply stop out. It's going to be lit right through January 1st.
The wife and I took a drive through the park last night.
Did you?
In town during the evening, and she was impressed.
Was it a romantic moment?
No. We stopped at a sub shop, and then I said, well, let me take you down through the park to show you the lights. So.
And she's like, it's after curfew. What are you talking about?
No, this was actually about 7 or 7:30.
And I went through when I got back from the football game Friday night, and the crowd, of course, was dispersed by then, but I was impressed with the light display. It's fantastic, and it looks so lonely when Santa's not there. His house is just like sitting there down by the armory, but Santa does a great job when he's there, especially with the kids.
But the Santa's house is still lit up at night, even though he's not there.
Correct.
So he's watching, kids. He's watching.
And don't forget, those who want to do vandalism, people are watching you too. That's so the quick call to the Chillicothe Police Department is always on speed dial.
Yeah. Earlier this month, we were telling you that November is National Adoption Month, but that led to Ohio Lieutenant Governor Jon Husted coming into Chillicothe to visit Elizabeth's pregnancy center down. If a lot of people might not realize, they're now down in Central Center. But we had an opportunity to catch up with Mr. Husted, and he talked about something that I had never heard before as to why he's so passionate about child adoption.
Jon Husted, Ohio's Lieutenant Governor, and I'm out touring the state here in Chillicothe today, talking about adoption during National Adoption Month. We're here at Elizabeth's Hope Pregnancy Center, and they provide support for new mothers and support for expectant mothers and families that really need support that can't find it. And the issue of adoption is really very important to me because I started out life in a foster home and was adopted. And was very blessed. I have wonderful parents, Jim and Judy Husted, who are now 86 and 87, still around and doing great. And it's just such a wonderful blessing. But I just have a message for a mom maybe that doesn't know what to do, that providing your child for adoption is a very selfless thing to do. Maybe you're not in a circumstance to provide a good home for them, but there are thousands of other people who are willing, and you should talk to the folks here at Elizabeth's in Chillicothe. They can help provide you all kinds of options to either be a mom or provide a child for adoption, or just whatever help you need, they're here to serve.
A great story of how our Lieutenant Governor, and who knows, maybe a future governor, starting out with adoption. I didn't either. He was talking to Lisa Cutler, of course, is the executive director, Don Knopf, who's working down there, and I heard him telling them that story, and when I got to him to interview him, I said, can you repeat some of what you told about your story? And very, very impactful.
Just like Gerald R. Ford. Didn't know that he was adopted.
Right. Well, remember Dave Thomas of Wendy's?
Right.
Dave was an adopted child. So great opportunity to give a young child a family. So think about adoption as we are celebrating National Adoption Month.
If I can dovetail on this, last night at our church we had a candlelight service, and all the people were talking about what they were thankful for. And we have a family in our church who has adopted a number of kids, and almost every one of them got up and thanked their mom and dad for adopting them and giving them a home and a family to be a part of. So that really hit home when I heard that.
Yeah, fantastic. And again, you can see that full interview on our Litter Media X, or go to the website story about adoption at littermedia.com. It's embedded in there. City of Chillicothe, their recycling truck will be serviced for its regular scheduled maintenance tomorrow and Wednesday. This note just coming to us this morning. Recycling will be collected and processed as normal using a city trash truck. The recycling truck will return on Thanksgiving Day. Residents must put out their recycling and trash as normal on Thursday, November the 28th, as well as Friday, November the 29th. The best volunteers are at United Way of Ross County. Critical in keeping produce market programs alive, without their amazing volunteers, they just couldn't do it. And they wanted to give a shout out to some of these folks from last Friday who worked the Bainbridge Market for the hungry, and they had over 160 families that showed up for this event. And again, they just wanted to give a shout out to their tremendous volunteers for making that program possible. Frankfort Shopping Trail Vendors Market will be this Saturday from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the Concord Township Fire Department, which is on Springfield Street in Frankfort. A Christmas concert comes to Trinity United Methodist Church in Chillicothe as This Little Child to be performed at 2:30 p.m. December the 8th. Come hear the Trinity Choir with special guest Renovo and the church ladies. And the Ohio Department of Natural Resources held a ribbon-cutting ceremony last Friday to open the very first Heritage of Freedom Trail in the state at Alum Creek State Park. It commemorates Ohio's history related to the Underground Railroad. The trailhead is located near the Galena boat ramp at Alum Creek State Park. So if you're up there, you'll have a chance to experience that. The trail, by the way, is a natural surface loop that is just under 3/4 of a mile. And there you have your topics for today. Beneficial news that you can use. Or at least we hope so.
Yes, and we'll have the same in sports coming your way in just a matter of moments as well.
Yes.
Once I find our next
sponsor that we'll be happy to tell you about here in just a moment.
As soon as Dan finds it. And it doesn't appear to be alphabetical anymore.
Well, in the meantime, I could promote some things coming up.
Why don't you do that?
The YMCA, Ross County YMCA, Steve Clever will be in tomorrow morning for a special edition of Litter Media Live. That's at 10 o'clock. Steve will be in to talk about some of the programs that they offer, not only in this late part of the calendar year, but what's coming up over the winter months.
And Marcia Wagner will be here at noon tomorrow to talk about the Christmas tour of homes here in Chillicothe as well. So a big day for us tomorrow with back-to-back-to-back episodes.
Yes, sir.
All right, cheer.
Don't forget, if you have that home or property cleanup project, you need a dumpster. You need something to get the junk out of the way. Scioto Valley Dumpsters can help you with that, with those big orange dumpsters. Give them a call for a free estimate at 253-8389 Scioto Valley Dumpsters.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
I'm a busy woman, and I'm not ready to slow down.
Tiffany's hip pain was interfering with her career and active lifestyle until she came to the Adina Orthopedic and Spine Institute.
Dr. Meshbach told me about same-day surgery. I said, I want it now, and I wanted it yesterday.
After a successful procedure, Tiffany was home the very same day and on her way back to enjoying the community she calls home. At Adina, we do what we love, so you can too.
Each week, we'll announce the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. And in December, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Nominate any amateur athlete by visiting littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. You'll also see the players we've named throughout the year. Make your nomination today for the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union.
Dixie Chopper. Speed when you need it.
Visit your local Dixie Chopper dealer today or visit DixieChopper.com.
Discover Ross County. From the breathtaking outdoor adventures to the historic sights of Chillicothe and family-friendly events and festivals,
Explore more at visitchillicotheohio.com or download the free mobile app today.
Time for a look at sports.
Yes, sir. And a lot of it from over the weekend. We start out with high school sports, kind of a recap of what happened on Friday. Of course, Dan was feeding us on Litter X scores of the Danville game. And that...
in the rain.
Yeah, Danville pretty much was in control from the beginning.
Yeah, they forced Eastern into 3 and out. Then after a punt, it was a short punt. Next thing you know, boom, one play, and Danville scores. And then they go for 2. And when they scored, they went for 2 every time. Carson Peters, by the way, for Eastern, had a 90-yard interception return for a touchdown. The PAT failed afterwards, but he had 2 more interceptions on the PAT attempts by Danville. And Boston Webb also had an interception. But on the next play, Eastern fumbled the football. It was their best field position of the night. And so it was just difficult to fight out of that hole that was created by 3 touchdowns in the first quarter.
But still a record-setting year for the Eagles. Their only loss of the season and first time in school history for their football program, which you got to keep remembering, folks, is only 10 years old.
Yeah.
They've only been around for football for 10 years. Their farthest trip into the tournament all the way as a regional runner-up.
This was the 4th consecutive year that Danville played in the regional championship game. They knew what that taste was that Eastern had, losing those 3. And to quote Scott Tomlinson as talking to his kids after the game, he says, "We came here for gold. We've gone home with silver. Next year we're coming back for gold."
Yes, sir.
And they've got almost everybody back.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Great 2025 to look forward to. One of our other area teams, Ironton. These guys could end up as the state champs, folks. They are a juggernaut. They wiped out Waylersburg in the Division 5 regional final 55-0. Now, the Tigers of Ironton will play in the state semifinals this coming Friday against West Liberty Salem, and that game will be played at Chillicothe High School's Obadiah Harris Family Complex. Is that what they call it?
Well, it's the Obadiah Harris Family Athletic Complex.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a 7 o'clock kickoff. So if you're just in the area and you want to see...
This is why they call it the O.
Yeah. You want to see a pretty good football team, 2 football teams, I'm sure West Liberty's pretty good too.
And just up the road at Tees Valley, there's another game being played.
Yeah. That's I think that's the Big Walnut, but I can't remember who they're playing.
Watterson, I believe.
And they beat a very impressive Massillon, Washington team, so that should be a good one as well. High school girls basketball got started over the weekend. There were games Friday and Saturday, as you can see. For the radio folks, you can't, but Uniota beat Miami Trace, Vinton County over Waverly, Zane Trace girls won, so did Westfall, McLean, Western Brown over Hillsborough, Eastern Brown, Southern, Fairland, Hamilton Township, River Valley, Byrne Union, Federal, Hocking, Warren, and Marietta were winners. And then on Saturday night,
I don't have.
Oh, you don't have that? Well, I can tell you the Lady Shermans were back in action down in the Cincinnati area, and they were taking on 3-time defending state champ Cincinnati Purcell Marion. That team's good. 78-51 over a very good Uniota ball team. Lady Warriors of Edina lost to a very good Sheridan club, 51-28, and Huntington girls beat Chillicothe 52-35.
Speaking of Chillicothe, we will begin our basketball coverage this Friday from the Zane Trace McDonald's Tip-Off Classic, and it'll be Edina taking on Chillicothe in boys basketball. And B.J. Daly and I will have that action as you are going on assignment elsewhere.
I'll be elsewhere. But that Tip-Off Classic actually starts Wednesday.
Correct.
And they're, I think in years past they've had it Friday, Saturday, but this year it's Wednesday, Friday.
Take Thanksgiving off and then come back. I'm wondering how sluggish those teams will be on Friday after Thanksgiving.
All that tryptophan in them. I think they've learned, and probably accurately, there's no point in having games on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
Not when Ohio State and Michigan's playing.
Correct.
Because those people will be dedicated to watch that. Westfall High School will host their 2024 Athletic Hall of Fame class induction ceremony, although it'll be held January 10th of 2025. That's a 7 o'clock ceremony. It'll be between the JV and varsity games. New inductees are Shane Haggerty, David Jones, John Kohler, and Jessica Rogers Sullivan. Congratulations to all of those inductees. Young lady we had a chance to talk with last spring, Hillsborough senior Cameron Spruill has signed with Ball State University to continue her softball career. Cameron was an all-conference, all-district, and all-state softball player for the Lady Indians last year. And again, she's got one more year of softball in high school, but she is going to go to D1 Ball State University in the MAC.
If memory serves me correctly, one of the young ladies from Taze Valley who won the 1-0 victory in extra innings over Lebanon, this has been, 2016, I believe it was. She ended up going to Ball State, led the nation in saves.
That's right.
And also, so this could be another great opportunity for Cameron Spruill. Congratulations, sir.
Good deal. Ohio State Buckeyes will now prepare for the team up north after their 38-15 win over previously unbeaten Indiana on Saturday.
Did a wellness check on her buddy Matt Bruning on Saturday. This was after the third quarter. I said, I better check on Matt to make sure he's okay.
Well, after the opening drive for Indiana, it was like, yeah, this team might be for real, but Ohio State's defense possibly played their best game of the year on Saturday. So that team up north and the Bucks, noon kickoff this Saturday at the Shoe.
And they scored, 60 points, did Michigan, against Northwestern.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, so they got a big win. So they're coming in off of a victory, despite their, 5-5 season.
Yeah, don't pay any attention to that record.
That's right.
Because this game is the game. We say so long to a fan favorite in Cincinnati, Jonathan India. He is now a Kansas City Royal. He was traded, and the Reds in exchange get starting pitcher Brady Singer, and the Reds also sent off minor league outfielder Joey, is it Weimer or Weimer? Weimer. So long, and thank you, Jonathan India, for your years of service to the Redlegs.
Weimer made 2 appearances for the Reds, but he was a Reds killer when he played for Milwaukee. And now this Singer kid, from what I understand, he was a college teammate of Jonathan India. And they thought about playing together on the same team at some point in time in their careers, but they got swapped for each other.
Yeah. Reds looking, obviously, for more starting pitching, and
they got it.
You might remember Brady Singer made national news when he signed a major league contract, and it was a viral video of his mom and dad reading the letter that he sent them. He paid off their mortgage for all the things that they had done to help him become a big league ball player.
So he's a quality kid.
But the thing of it is, Mom's reading this letter, and when she gets to the part about, I'm paying off your mortgage, take a hanky with you if you read it. It is really something to see. Columbus Blue Jackets, hey, what's gotten into them? They've won a couple straight. They beat the Carolina Hurricanes 5-4 in a shootout on Saturday night. And the OSU women's basketball team, they were a 96-53 winner over Bowling Green Sunday. The OU Bobcats men's basketball team they lost to the Texas State Bobcats, so a battle of Bobcats, 74-65. Wright State men's basketball team fell in a heartbreaker to South Florida. I think this was a last-second shot.
Yes.
73-72. And just moments before going on the air, we learned that Brandon Knoll, Chillicothe grad who plays for Wright State, was named to the Myrtle Beach Invitational All-Tournament team after 2 20-plus point performances. He finished with a 19.3 per game average with 6 rebounds per game.
He scored only 5 points yesterday, and he came up short on all of his free throws. And the commentators, as I was watching this on, I think it was ESPN, they were saying we're seeing the the fatigue from 3 games and 3 straight days at that level of play down at Myrtle Beach. Now, this guy, Trey Robertson, remember him? Plays for Rio Grande. He scored 35 points in the back-to-back games of the Bevo Francis Classic being played over at Rio Grande, and came up with the victory there for his ball club. And this guy, Javon Moffmer from Chillicothe, he is going to be in the championship game of the Paradise Jam taking place in the U.S. Virgin Islands. And here's how the game finished up last night. Going for a last-second shot, didn't get it, and it went right off of Moffer's hands there. He was wearing number 32 in the red uniform, but they did pick up the win, so they were super happy. And now playing for a championship down in the Virgin Islands.
Is that today?
That's today.
As in daytime?
I believe it's at 3 o'clock today.
Okay.
Something like that.
Possibly one of the ESPN network or someone might be covering that, so check it out.
Yes.
Staying with basketball, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they still have only 1 loss on the year as they roughed up the Rafters, 122-108 last night, and they stay unbeaten at home.
You don't want to mess with a dinosaur like that, you know.
Unless you're bringing some heavy.
But the Raptors have won their games against the Cleveland Cavaliers in previous years as well.
Payback time. Yeah.
Yes.
That's sports.
All right, in a moment, it's the Litter Media Wayback Machine dialed up for this date in history of what year?
1950. A big storm.
A big storm?
Coming your way.
Okay. Let me find the right button to push here. Once again.
How did you do this show when you were the only one doing it?
We had fewer sponsors, first of all.
Oh, okay.
And in the same respect, I could see the screen. I was closer
to
it.
That's a good problem to have, more sponsors. So,
yes.
Hey, Litter Quality Propane, one of our great sponsors. Online propane monitoring and reporting. Know your home's consumption and gas remaining in the tank. Find out more at litterpropane.com.
Our fine sponsor.
Yes, they are. They'll keep you warm when you need that gas.
Yes, and also they'll help you cook with that gas as well. So, and now we're cooking with gas because I found the commercial that's
Whenever I first applied for the Archways opportunity, do I have to pay this back? Do I have to do that? Like, is it a loan? And it's not. It's a scholarship. A goal of mine is to graduate college debt-free. If you're a crew member, you get $2,500 a year, and if you're a manager, you get $3,000. And especially if you're going locally to college, like to the branch or something like that, it's really helpful.
Are you looking for a beer that satisfies your thirst and love of country? Armed Forces Brewing Company brews beer for patriots. Celebrate freedom with every sip. Armed Forces Brewing Company. Freedom never tasted so good.
Time for this date in history.
I've heard a lot about this story. A lot from family members. 1950. The so-called storm of the century hits the eastern part of the United States, killing hundreds and causing millions of dollars in damage. November 25th, 1950, also known as the Appalachian Storm. It dumped record amounts of snow in parts of the Appalachian Mountains. It formed over North Carolina just before Thanksgiving. The storm quickly moved north, striking western Pennsylvania, eastern Ohio, and West Virginia. These areas were blanketed with several feet. That's right, several feet of snow for several days, and travel was impossible for nearly a week in some places. Bear Mountain, north of New York City, had a wind gust of 140 miles per hour. Now remember, blizzard condition, I think, is a steady snow and constant winds of 35 plus, 140 mile an hour.
That'd be blizzard right there. It qualifies.
But a lot of sports fans also remember this storm.
Snowball.
Because of the Ohio State-Michigan game being played in Columbus in this snowstorm.
And those surviving members from that A lot of people claim that they were there, kind of like Woodstock. So many people were there, but I don't know that they had a crowd like they normally have,
I don't think so,
or what they'll have this weekend as well. So,
but I don't think there were any touchdowns scored. If there was, Michigan had one, but all the other scoring was like field goals.
Yeah.
And short range field goals.
I was going to say, how do you explain that, right?
It was very short range from what they said, So, tough one.
I wasn't here to be able to talk about it Friday morning, but that snow that came on in Cleveland, I saw two pictures. One picture, it looked like it was a nice nighttime ball game, green grass, the whole deal. 10 minutes later, it was blanketed by snow. It was incredible.
I think I saw a lot of posts. Cleveland Browns fans don't need a dome stadium with that snow all over the place. Yeah.
And during the pregame show, they were talking with Jameis Winston and said, how do you feel about playing in this possible conditions of snow, blah, blah, blah. He says, I am blessed that the Lord gave me an opportunity to play football in Ohio in a snowstorm. He's looking forward to it. And I was watching the postgame, and he was sitting in with the Amazon Prime broadcast team, and one of those team members is Ryan Fitzpatrick, who was with Jameis at Tampa Bay. And he confirmed to everybody there, he says, this is not the Jameis that just happened to come about. He has been like this the entire time he's been playing football. He just feels blessed to be doing what he's doing. He picks everybody up around him. Sure, he throws the ball away every once in a while, takes those risks, but he seems to be fit for this team right now.
How old is he?
He's only 28, I believe.
So he's got some years.
He's got some years,
barring any injuries. So.
Precisely. So, but still, they're 3-8 right now.
Who was I? Oh, I was talking to a young man yesterday who grew up in Michigan, but went to Ohio State, and we were talking football, and he's a Bengals fan. I was explaining to him why I'm a Browns fan, because I said when I was a kid, there were no Cincinnati Bengals. It was just the Browns.
And the Browns were on how many different markets and TV-wise, thanks to the foresight of Paul Brown.
Absolutely. So trying to give him a little bit of I think he's 38, so a little bit of a background on I think he lives in Dayton now. So
Bengals have been to the Super Bowl 3 times.
Yes.
And 2 times to the 49ers they lost. And that third appearance was against the Rams. That's who it was.
Browns still trying to get there.
Yeah.
But the Browns still do have some world championships when it was just the old NFL days. So, and then the American Football Conference, before they went to the NFL, they had a championship.
And a part of it, you could say those might stand a little higher than Super Bowl level just due to the fact that there were fewer teams, harder to do, Yeah. And now there's so many players on all these teams, the expansion of the playoffs and so on and so forth. You take your risk anytime you're out there, unless you're the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Eagles
they almost got knocked off yesterday
by the Panthers.
I mean, they had a big lead, and then it ended up being a 3-point game. So,
did you happen to watch the early portion of the game, and they showed the guy sitting in the stands that looked just like Andy Reid?
No, I didn't see that.
He's sitting there. He's got the same outfit on that Andy Reid has. They called him Randy Reid.
Randy Reid.
And he had a headset on the whole deal, sitting there, and I guess it might have been his wife sitting next to him with a championship belt. My wife goes, what's he doing sitting in the stands? I thought he's supposed to be on the side. And I said, no, that's just a guy that's
There used to be a guy that did that at Ohio State games as Woody Hayes, but I haven't seen him around for a long time. I don't know if he's still with us or not. Or just figured out nobody remembered what he was.
Did you see where Brutus Buckeye got demolished?
Well, yeah, not the guy that dresses up.
Right.
But,
and this is the OSU marching band version of Brutus Buckeye. And I guess they've got him on, the guy who was doing the damage, on film, kicking it out in the street, throwing it up, picking it up, throwing it down, the whole deal. And this is the second time it's gone through, according to Channel 4 reporting, this is the second time it's gone through something like this.
Don't tell me this guy was from that team up?
I think he was from Indiana because it was after the Indiana game.
Yeah, that game had
was
some...
it Matt Bruning?
Yeah, that game had some inside flavor to it, and I didn't know the story until after the game was over, and I kept looking, why are they saying Google it? Why did Will Howard put out an imaginary cigarette and stop? Well, then I got to doing some reading about Indiana's coach doing some trash talking.
I caught this was in the pregame show, the little feature on Indiana's coach, and he was addressing about the chair. He had a recliner that he was sitting in. And basically he says, if you start thinking about this guy sitting in this chair, gets hired for this job. And he says, I know people think I'm cocky, but I'm going into this basketball arena. I'm about to say something about being hired as the new coach. And that's where he basically said, Purdue sucks, and Ohio State and Michigan, they're coming down too, and so on and so forth. You talk about stoking the flames in a competition. And I got hands off to Ryan Day, the guy who has always been touted as having a record where he hasn't beaten these top 5 teams. And now he's won 3 of them this year?
I think so.
So
except the Oregon game.
Except for the Oregon game, which was 1 point.
Right.
1 point on the road. We'll see what happens when they get to Indianapolis.
Maybe get another chance.
But I know
got to beat Michigan.
Got to beat
first.
Michigan first.
Yeah.
Got to beat Michigan first. Yeah. All right. That's it for today's program. Thank you so much for watching. As we mentioned a moment ago, we have 2 special editions of our show, which will bookend this daily show tomorrow. We've got a short work week in regards to Thanksgiving Day, but we've got more special guests coming your way later this week as well. So stick with us. Thank you so much for watching. And for those who are listening on Litter Media Radio, thank you for tuning in. We've got more on the way there, too, from Litter Media.